everyone, and welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? A show where everything is made up, but the points actually do matter. If any of that sounds a little familiar, well, that's because yes, this is an improv comedy podcast where all the stories you're about to hear were completely made up on the spot, guided and prompted by real improv comedy games. How does it work? Well, two players are tasked with having a podcast-like interview or conversation, making it all up as they go, but there's a third guest who can interrupt at any time and give them new rules or new directions for their conversation via a list of different improv games and guidelines. How do you win? Well, if a player breaks character or simply doesn't follow the rules of the game they're in at the time, the other person is awarded a point, and at the end of a 20-minute time limit, the guest with the most points wins, and of course, becomes known to the world as a comedic genius. So, without any further ado, let's find out who's making stuff up in this episode.
Yeah, I got it. I'll remember.
That's rolling. You've got your papers. We've got that there. You got the scoreboard. You got the buzzer. We'll get rid of these.
I've got this sweet little ass.
You've got that sweet little ass. I don't know what more we could need to make an episode of this podcast.
That's right.
So, in that case, folks, welcome to another episode of the Whose Life podcast. I am joined this episode by Matty McClelland.
That's right.
Sitting across the table from me, ready to put our podcast pants back on one more time. And the improv host for this episode, Josh Emerick in the captain's seat. Josh, welcome back.
I'm ready to steer this ship.
Or welcome for the first time, depending on how these release.
Yes,
I don't
the first
really
time.
know what order these are releasing in. So it's either the first time you've been on the show or welcome back for the 10th time. I'm happy to have you both here.
I'm happy to be here.
If it's your first time watching or checking this show out, what we're about to do is make a bunch of stuff up right off the top of our heads, as it is Matty and I's job to form some sort of a sensible podcast or life story worthy conversation by just making a bunch of stuff up. But we're not going to do it alone. Josh, who's in the captain's chair, is going to be giving us guidelines and prompts that we have to go off of via a list of actual improv comedy games that we have to try and form this podcast conversation out of. So without further ado, Matty, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Josh, are you ready? Are you ready to steer the ship?
I'm ready.
The buzzer is working. So assign us our roles and our characters, Josh. Who is interviewing and who is being interviewed for this podcast that we are about to make up?
All right, well, the timer is beginning now. Matty, you're going to be the interviewer. Ross, you're the interviewee.
Beautiful. Action on Matty.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Strange and Weird podcast, where we talk to all types of strange and weird and impressive and disgusting people. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, our guest is Ross.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. Big fan of the show. Been listening for a long time. Really just excited to be here. I can't wait to see what you're going to ask me.
All right, we're going to play yes and.
Yes, and it's just a great show. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes. And it is a great show. Thank you. I have a question for you. How did you survive in that ice block for that long?
Yes, and I get that question a lot, but really I kind of learned to slow my heart rate down a while ago. You know, it really happened as a kid. It's when I really unlocked that I don't know, that level of understanding that we can actually control our blood pressure like that.
Yes, and I believe there was something else that you did to survive in solid ice for 3 months.
Yes, and I know people are probably wanting to really get to that, a lot of the people that know me.
Yes, and that is why you were on this podcast.
Yes, and I'll just get to it. I did, in fact, detach my penis.
Yes, and we have it here in the studio with us.
Yes, and would you like me to grab it now, or do you want me to save it for...
And keep it out.
So yes, and there it is.
Yes, and what a specimen it is.
Yes, and actually, you can still see the stamp that I put on the bottom there.
Yes. And it's fading, but it's still there.
Yes, and, that happens after a couple of years.
Yes, and a lot more than that happens after a couple of years. Am I right?
Yes.
Let's add accents. You're up, Ross.
Yes, and what else would you like to know?
Yes, and well, I was just wondering how was it cold in there? Yes, and you went in there and you were alive in the frozen block of ice. How'd you do that?
Yes, and I get that question a lot.
Yes, and I'm expecting you to answer it.
Yes, and I will get there if you'll give me a second.
Yes, and you don't have to be so rude about it.
Yes, and I apologize. Can I grab my penis off the table?
Yes, and you can put it up your ass. I don't care.
Yes, and I would if we weren't being recorded.
Yes. And why is that an issue?
Yes, and I don't think I understand your question.
Yes. And you are very rude, and I don't like you.
Yes, and I come from a country where sometimes we are rude.
Yes, and what country is that?
Yes, and I don't think you'd know.
Yes, and I probably would.
I'm going to give it to him.
No, actually, I'm going to give that one to Maddie.
What?
I'm sorry, you lost that one. Accents are still continuing, though.
How did I lose that one?
I'm making the rules here.
Get
Maddie won that
Change
one.
the rules of the... Wow.
I mean,
Continue
I
the
respect
story.
your authority as the improv host.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, you were stuck in this big old hunk of frozen water for a really long time. What did you eat while you were in there?
Microbiomes is the things that we actually can't see with our eyes. So they would
And they were big enough to eat?
They were big enough to eat because there's so many of them. So something you don't know is that actually in ice, when you break it down to the very, very microscopic...
Oh, I know ice.
Do you know ice?
I know ice. This is the Strange and Wonderful podcast. We talk about ice sometimes because what's more
sorry.
wonderful than H2O?
I didn't know that.
If you know what I mean.
The only thing that's better than water is a long night long with your lover and in Mexico,
All right,
if you know what I mean.
Damn it. Ross gets that one. I'm sorry.
Are we keeping the accents going too?
You guys are doing great until someone
okay.
breaks.
Well, it's just so you know, we can stop at some point. But
I feel like my character is completely changed.
I love the accents. I wanted to keep going.
so anyway, yes, I ate and survived on all the microbiomes that was in the ice. Yes.
That sounds kind of fake, and I don't believe you.
All right, we're going to play Whose Line. There's your first one. There's your first one. There's your second one. There's your second one. Starting on Maddie. And continue.
You know, I don't believe. I'll just come right out. I was building up to it anyway, but I'm just gonna say it. I don't believe that you were actually frozen in that block of ice for 3 months. I think that you're fibbing. I asked my mama, and you know what she said? She said, "You make me so wet." Because I had this squirt gun, this Super Soaker brand squirt gun, that I was just firing right at her. I was firing it right at her.
Really?
And she said, "You're making me so wet. You're making me so wet, son." And I said, "You bought me this. You bought me this." She doesn't believe that you were in there either.
Really? So you fired a squirt gun at your mother?
Yeah, and she had it coming.
Yes, I'm sure something was coming. I understand, but my thing is, I know it's very unbelievable that I would have survived in a block of ice like that for such a long time. But the thing is something to help me calm myself down, something to help me slow my blood pressure. You know, it's something I kept telling myself right up here, right in the dome, right in the head when I was in that block of ice.
Right.
You know what I kept saying? I kept any time I would regain consciousness, because sometimes I would, and it'd be so scary. But I would always remind myself, I would tell myself, my nipples are as hard as a rock. Because it was very cold in there.
I bet they were.
It was so cold.
I bet they were hard as rocks.
But the fact that I would remind myself that my nipples were so hard, it would actually put me in such a state of panic that I would pass back out and then, get a couple more days in the ice block. Yes.
And then, which you would regain consciousness, think about your nipples, and then pass back out?
Yes, that is...
You did this for
3 months. Yes, 3 months. Yes.
90 days you did this?
90 whole days. Yes, that is the
Well,
amount of
I
time.
just could have...
We're going to add yes and into this as well.
How do we do it with...
Yes, and I saw you on the news. That's where I heard about you.
Yes,
And you know what
a
they
lo-
were
a lot of
saying
people
about
do
it? You know what they were saying? They were saying that the dog's butthole stinks. And I knew what they meant. I knew what they meant by that. And it meant you were a phony. You're a phony. And me and my mama, we don't even like you. We don't believe that you're real. You don't exist at all.
Yes, and I understand your trepidations of believing something like that, especially when they bring, what you say, a dog's butthole into this.
Yes, and it really did stink.
Yes, and I'm sure it does, but there was no dog and no butthole, only mine in the ice block.
Yes. And here you are still, not even a real person sitting in front of me.
Listen.
Oh. All right. Maddie got another point.
I was so focused on the fucking lines. Listen.
Continue.
I appreciate you having me on the show, okay? Whether you believe me or not. But is there's one thing that I can say to you to really get you to trust me, to get you to understand that I can do things like survive in an ice block for 3 months. If there's one thing that I could tell you, I want you to look into my eyes right now, across this podcast
All right.
table, live on your recording. And I just want to ask you, where did you hide the body?
How do you know about that?
There's many things that I learned in that icebox. And
You
one-
learned about me in your icebox?
All right. Accents are over. You guys did fantastic with that. The lines were incredible.
I might be stuck in
Continue the story,
I think
and
I'm
we are
stuck.
going to play alphabet. We're starting with F.
Am I allowed to keep the accent because it is my character now?
I'm fine. If you guys want to keep the accents, they're fantastic. I was just giving you the opportunity to kill the accents if you didn't want them.
What do you think?
Let's keep him.
Okay. All right. What was the game?
Alphabet.
We're playing alphabet.
okay.
Starting with F. You're up, Maddie.
For the longest time, I've been lied to by every person in my life and every person that I've had on this damn program that I should never have started.
George, I understand why you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you, I know a lot of things.
How in the hell do you know my name?
I know a lot of things, like I said.
Just wait 1 minute here, bucko. I'm gonna kill you.
Change what you said.
Just hang on here 1 minute, bucko.
That doesn't count. Change what you said.
Jam is very good with a peanut butter, is what I've found. But back to the issues. I don't think you were in that damn ice block. I think you're a fucking fake.
Oh, I'm giving that to Maddie. It's too long. Too long.
I forgot what letter you were on.
I was on K.
Oh, K's hard.
It's fucking hard.
That's what
K is
I. Yeah.
kinda
Okay.
hard.
Yep.
Because I almost started saying a C word.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Continue.
Prove to me right now that you lived inside a piece of ice.
You want me to show you? You want me to show you that I can, in fact, do something?
Number of words. 3, 2.
Yes,
Want me
please.
to show?
Yeah, please. Right now.
Ah, you lose.
God, I keep forgetting that we have to exchange. I keep saying 2-word. Oh well. Oh well.
Where are we at on time?
Give it to him.
You guys still got 8 minutes. Continue.
Wonderful. So, you want me to show you right now that I did indeed? I'll show it to all your audience here, okay? Watch.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I think he did it. I think he actually did it.
Did you see that? I saw down my blood.
Questions only.
Did you see that?
How the hell do you do something like that?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Would I?
Why are you asking me so many questions?
Why are you so non-responsive to my questions? This is my goddamn podcast.
Where did you hide the body?
Which one?
How many are there?
How many do you know about?
I think 16?
Wait. That's not a question. Wait, is it? Fuck.
Let's be asking him to confirm if...
Okay.
Is 16 all you know about?
How many more are there?
How many more do you think I'm capable of?
33?
How did you know the exact amount of people I've killed and bodies I've hit?
Have you not been listening to me this entire time?
Have you not? Have you forgotten that this is my podcast and you are being very rude to me?
Am I supposed to be sorry?
Why in the hell do people come in here into my home with my mama sitting right there and make fun of me?
That is your mother?
Couldn't you tell? She's beautiful.
Why does she look like that?
Have you ever heard about Maybelline?
Is she free tomorrow night?
Are you free tomorrow night, Mama?
Why are you asking her?
Well, isn't she her own woman?
Can't you speak for her?
Why are you so damn pushy about this? And yes, she is.
Why can't we stay on track?
Why can't you just tell me the damn truth?
What do you want to know?
I want to know what you ate in there. Was it cracker? Was it ice?
How many times do I have to tell you?
I didn't see you eat a single fucking thing.
You want me to eat something right now?
I lost.
Yeah, you lost. I just liked where the conversation was going.
I didn't even catch that you lost.
You lost twice.
Really?
Oh, I did?
I didn't catch that at all.
I totally forgot we were playing that game. My mind was just...
Continue.
I just don't understand why you'd have me on this show just to not believe anything about the weird, the strange, the unusual. Isn't that what the show's about?
Well,
Rhymes. You got to rhyme off of a sentence. And just a reminder, every other you can change.
Every other you can change.
I didn't believe that you were telling the truth.
I'm sorry, you have something in your tooth.
So can I?
You can restart. You can start a new rhyme, yeah.
It's a big old steak that I had 4 nights ago.
Did you eat that at home alone?
I'm not counting that.
What?
A go?
Go home?
I heard. Did you eat that at home alone?
Or alone, yeah.
Oh,
Go
No,
alone?
give it to- we'll give
Does
it to
that
him.
work?
Okay, keep it going.
So I'm the only one. You're the only one that's rhyming.
Technically, yeah. I guess that's how this works.
You can choose to keep rhyming if you want.
Or is it over?
I don't fucking know how this
This
works.
tooth-
We talked about this last
okay.
time.
This
I thought-
food in my tooth is proof that I actually eat something unlike you.
Let me check your poo.
Why would you want to do something like that?
Because I don't know what's in all that crap.
This crap is 100% clean.
Is your mother? She looks like a queen.
Finally, you said something that's right.
So do I get her tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I'm giving Ross this point. What? There's no way for him to not win. He lasted long enough. I'm giving him the point. Yes!
Damn it. Fine.
That was good. That was good.
If you say so.
It was pretty fucking good.
How much time we have left?
My mother
20 minutes. I didn't start
Shit.
the timer.
My mother would be happy to go on a date with you.
This is wonderful news.
I believe you now. You've somehow
I tell you what.
What?
This is what I'm thinking. This is what's hitting me right now, okay?
Us be real good friends.
Switch roles, which includes accents.
You want us to be real good friends?
This.
Well, what do we gotta do?
Well, what we have to do
Tell me.
is go down to the local carnival,
All right.
and I'm gonna buy you a big old lemonade slush.
You gonna buy me a lemonade slush? I love those.
I'm gonna take you behind all. I'm going to take you behind.
All right, I'm giving Ross a point
Yeah.
for this.
That's rough.
Switch back.
So anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to take you behind the food truck that's down there. I
Yeah.
just went to the carnival yesterday before I came here because I was in town.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you back there, and there is a secret entrance under the ground.
Bonus, 1 line each. You guys have 2 minutes.
There is a secret entrance onto the ground that only my people know about. And it can only be opened if I say one specific thing. Would you like to know?
Yeah.
Well, I will take you back there. We will go to the opening of the secret entrance that only I know about. I will look at it. We have to hold hands, and I will say, "Pee-pee is the code word." I don't know who planned this.
Now, do you have to say that whole phrase, or do you just have to say pee-pee?
Well, it's actually just pee-pee. Pee-pee is the code word. That's the thing. So I walk up, I say pee-pee, we go down in the magical place, and your mother can come too, and we will be a happy family. Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, if Mother can come, what do you think about that, Mother? She always says this about going down into pee-pee holes with big old men. She said, "You ever seen something like this before?" And she
Oh my goodness, she just got her titties out.
then she pulls up her shirt
She
and shows
did.
her breasts.
Oh my goodness, this is wonderful.
Look at them. Are you looking at them? Oh my God.
Only the listeners will
This
think
is the
minute.
best day.
1 minute.
This is the best day of my life. I'm so glad that I got you here to get in touch with my mother.
Yes, and.
Yes, and we will be a happy family when this is all over.
Yes, and you're the best person I've ever seen motorboat my mother. Yes, and do it some more, please.
Maddie gets a point.
What?
You didn't say yes, and.
Yes, I started that with yes and.
Did you?
Yes.
I just heard you motorboating.
I said yes and.
Maddie gets a point.
Wow.
Yes,
22
and now
seconds.
you're my new dad.
I would love to be your new father. Would you like to go somewhere cold with me?
I would love nothing more.
I will show you the ways. We will enter through the hole where the pee-pee is. The mother will come with her tatas out, and we will go leaving icebergs together forever. I'm so happy I did this podcast.
This turned out exactly the way I wanted it to.
Can I-
Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right. That is a wrap.
Oh my God. Now, you know what's funny?
What?
I have not been looking at the scorecard. So I
I-
genuinely don't. And we
I
each
have-
kind of, because Josh tried to screw up the rules a little
Oh,
bit.
bullshit.
He's
He
the
wanted to-
host.
He wanted to. He
I
wanted to.
played this fair and fucking square.
I don't think he did. I think the listeners.
gave-
Oh, look, the live stream. They're chiming in. They said, "Yeah, Josh is a liar. Josh is a liar," according to the live stream.
Well, I can't refute that chat, but I think he was pretty fair.
Honestly, to me, it sounds like somebody's scared.
I think I'm worried.
It does sound. It sounds like fear.
It sounds like maybe someone at this table is a little bit scared.
And Maddie, I think it's time you confess to being so damn afraid.
I am so terrified right now. I don't even know what to do.
Because I'm not. I'm gonna drink this water while he reads off the points, and I'm gonna be happy about it.
I just pissed.
All right. So the scores are in. Maddie. You
Oh,
scored.
he's starting with me first. I lost.
Well, no, the other times I've done that, it's usually the winner.
You got 4 points.
I feel like this is a pretty close game. I remember us both getting some
Yeah,
points.
yeah. We both got some points up there.
Ross,
Yes.
you got 5 points.
5.
Ross won.
That is the worst.
4.
That
It was
feels
so
bad.
close.
That
You guys
was a-
did so good.
That was a close game.
That felt bad.
Your guys' commitment to the
lose
accents
to
was
this.
incredible.
That was pretty good.
Man,
I like where that
was
story
fun.
went.
That was quite fun.
It started with you hosting a strange and weird podcast.
Yeah.
And how
I had a character in mind for that,
didn't get to do it.
No,
it wasn't
never saw the light of the day.
That's
It wasn't
literally how
You called accents only too early.
It wasn't the Southern Child that you wanted.
No,
to
the
commit
Southern
to?
Child came with the accent, and I can't do a German accent ever. So
That was I loved when you switched them.
that was rough.
That was hilarious.
That was rough.
You guys did pretty well, though. I have to say, I think you guys did pretty well with the switch up. Matty did one word to test it out, and it was hilarious.
Also, what are the odds that I'm literally
know.
telling a story about needing a password for a fucking secret passageway, and I pull up PP is the code word? That worked perfectly.
Yeah, it's almost like it was rigged.
Yeah, that's not what it even says on the paper. That's weird.
Chat doesn't think it's rigged.
It's almost like it's rigged.
According to chat, doesn't think it was rigged. They say it was made up right off the top of my head, like good improv should be. Speaking of good improv, this was an attempt. This was a
We
good
sure
attempt.
tried, didn't we?
We did. We gave it a.
And
I had
all
a
we can
great
do.
time. I had an amazing time.
How'd you feel as the audience in this episode?
Oh, I love this.
good?
This was so fun. I literally
good.
could not stop laughing. This was
It was pretty good. I think I would actually listen to that real podcast of a Southern child hosting a weird and unusual stories podcast, and he brings on a German scientist that knows how to slow down his pulse to live in ice for 3 months. And the fact that your mom was here, and we ended up being a happy family at the end. That's pretty good.
Spinoffs are all the rage right now.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. Might have to bring those characters back for future episodes, mainly because I don't know how many more
They're a
accents we
family
each
now.
have. They are a family.
I hope everyone's heart was warmed.
That was a pretty heartwarming tale. This episode sponsored by A24.
Beautiful.
Nice heartwarming tale. So, as we say goodbye, Maddie, would you like anyone to find you around the internet for any of the wonderful things you do?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. You can find me at Maddie_online.
Oh my god, I think he froze. So while he's frozen and we figure out how to thaw him out, Josh, where can people find you around the internet if they want you to come host their improv comedy podcast since you're doing such a good job?
Well, I would not have me on your podcast, so that's probably not on the table. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, where I don't host an improv comedy show, JM Emerick.
Not yet.
Not yet, but this could be your start. You could take
Never
off.
say never.
You could take off from this show and you could go start your own.
Oh, for sure.
You could go
For
start
sure.
your own. So as we say goodbye, we're going to say one last thing. It's the slogan of the show, and of course, as we all say it together, we will say, as we look into each other's eyes, I've never wanted anyone more than you. Dear listeners, thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of Whose Life.
These are fucking great.
That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.